All right, we are live. Hello and welcome to the Spinnin Backfist MMA show, the UFC 315 preview edition of the Spinnin Backfist MMA show for Thursday, May 8th. Shout out my sister. It's my sister's birthday. It's Robbie Fox and Jack Mack. As always, Big Ev can't join us. I think he's traveling, working somewhere for Barstool, obviously. We got to shout out DraftKings right off the top, Jack, because DraftKings is the best in the business. UFC 315 almost here. We've got two title fights, obviously both highly anticipated. I've got one question for you, though. Are your bets in? If not, look no further than the DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. If you want to bet on JDM, bet on JDM. If you want to bet on Valentina, go ahead. If you want to bet on Bilal, if you believe in Bilal, go ahead. If you're new to UFC betting, no worries. Start simple. Choose a fighter to win and place your bet. That's it. And if you're brand new to DraftKings, here's something big. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Step into the octagon with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BACKFIST. That's code BACKFIST for new customers to score $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. All right, UFC 315 week. And speaking of Valentina, I will, right after we finish this podcast, be editing our interview with Valentina. Me and Ev did an interview with Valentina this week, and we'll be putting that up on the channels as well. So look out for that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Weird feeling of a pay-per-view week without a doubt. It doesn't feel like we're really in the midst of a huge pay-per-view because we're not. And I mean, that's okay. It'll be a good night of fights. We lost some really good fights heading into this week. Joel Alvarez, Benoit Saint Denis was going to be an absolute banger. But unfortunately, we lost that. Benoit Saint Denis will now be fighting a no-name from the Canadian regional scene, which, I mean, he has a chance to pull off something crazy. So
yeah, I'm glad they kept him on the card. Like, consider it's in Montreal. Obviously, a bunch of French people are going to the fight to see him, but it is tough to lose that fight.
Yeah, we'll miss that one, but still, JDM Bilal up at the top of the card, and it will be exciting. I'm interested to see how this fight goes, and the Valentina fight also. We have one fight where it seems though the challenger is favored, and then one fight where the defending champion is favored, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously, we're looking forward to some other fight cards in the near future, but this one is going to happen, and we'll be tuned in. It'll be fun.
I think it is going to be one. I predict it'll be one of those cards that outperforms expectations. I think we're going to get like a good, lively crowd. It's going to make the energy in the building feel good.
Did you see the unfortunate? It doesn't seem like a lot of people are buying tickets yet.
Ooh, I didn't see that. No, I didn't realize.
There's a lot of tickets still available.
Shout out Aaron Bronstetter in the chat, said oil up Robbie. Let's go.
Yep, oil up Robbie without a doubt.
PC Strickland in the chat said CGI fans.
Yeah, but I mean, I also saw a really good point. Now, they are in Montreal, not Toronto, but it's the middle of the hockey playoffs.
Yeah.
The Oilers are still in. I mean, there's a lot of Canadian teams still in. And
Montreal's still in, right? Or are they out?
I don't know.
No, I think they're out.
They're out. The Capitals beat them.
Yeah. Duh.
And then, but we'll go from there. It's going to be a fun night of fights. Before that, I think we should talk about Poton saying he got hacked.
Yeah, that was weird. That whole thing was weird.
A very weird situation. And now he's deleted the video where he said he got hacked.
He deleted that? I didn't see that he deleted that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm going to just go and check.
The Office, Michael Scott, snip, snap, snip, snap. What happened?
So for those who don't know, yes, it's not on his Instagram anymore. Maybe it's just on his Reels. Nope, it's not there. So those who don't know, yesterday around noon, maybe just after 1 p.m., we saw a tweet from Poton that essentially said, "I'm out at the UFC. I've always been a team player, but what I just heard, I'm not happy about it." Then About an hour later, Poton goes on Instagram and says, "Hey guys, I was hacked."
Yeah.
Bizarre thing for a hacker to
Hackers
do.
don't usually do that. They usually go
No,
with like, Bitcoin wallets or,
advertise something.
advertise or go in a complete crazy try to get the person canceled direction where they'll
Yeah,
just say the worst shit imaginable. It's not usually like I have an issue with a contract dispute, I'm out.
yeah, or even, oh, I'm mad that you're not letting me fight on a certain pay-per-view, or I want to be the headliner, you want me to be a co-main. Like that's not something that a hacker would be involved in. At
No.
least, at least in my experience of seeing
Unless
social
it's
media.
just like, is this a great hacker? They're like an MMA Twitter hacker and they know exactly what's going to get the people going.
Yeah, and then he probably got hacked again, and the hacker deleted his video. I can't.
Password was just Chama.
Yeah, it was just Chama. Now, I will say it clearly wasn't him because it was English. I mean, I guess he could have translated it, but it was a very it didn't seem it was a very smooth sailing tweet. It was very straightforward. You could understand, but yeah, I don't know where we're at where we're at with this. Maybe we'll learn more. Was he
Yeah.
hacked? I don't think so. But why would he delete the video of saying I'm
What was
hacked?
going on? Yeah. Everything about that's weird. We saw Hunter was in Dagestan meeting with Islam. That was another kind of big news story of the week.
Yeah, and at a certain point we gotta learn about what fight we're gonna get on June 27th or 8th or whatever that date is. We need to know what that is. And Taporia says he's going to be announcing his opponent soon, which I don't believe. I feel like the UFC is going to want to announce. We have to get some sort of an announcement this weekend, right?
Do you think it comes this weekend? I don't know. You think for International Fight Week already? I mean, it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be crazy if one hit this weekend, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get
The
it.
last two International Fight Weeks were announced in April. So,
Oh, shit. All right. So we are already late.
yeah, we're very late. I
Yeah.
think they were announced in mid-April, if I recall correctly. I think I saw a tweet. I think it was like April 21st, 2024, April 22nd, 2023. That's when Dana announced International Fight
Yeah.
Week. So be ready. Now it's May 8th as we're talking to all the chat right now. They have to. And then I'm also thinking, hey, you may not have a very big social pay-per-view this weekend. So what better way to take over the social airwaves than with,
Yeah.
hey, we booked the fight everybody wants, or maybe that's not the fight they booked.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's just
God
not what.
tell us they did though. We just want that. Imagine how hard the trailer for International Fight Week would go if at the end of it it's a fucking John Jones Tom Aspinall reveal. Like it's just Bruce Buffer, it's time. Imagine that. I don't think we're getting that, but imagine that.
If they played us that well,
that would be the greatest thing. That would be WWE style.
It would be the greatest thing in the history. Like truly unbelievable if that is what the reveal is.
That would be maybe the best reveal since the UFC 200 trailer had Brock Lesnar at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at our tweets where there's a bunch of fights announced over the past few weeks or past few days.
Yeah, we were texting in the group chat about a couple bangers. Let me pull up the group chat.
Yeah, RoboCop against Jack Hermanson. It was just mentioned in the chat. That's for 317.
Ricky Simone, Charles Jourdain.
That's then we're looking
for Atlanta. That one that's a banger.
Oh, and then there were some rumors that the Ritter against Whitaker's in the works.
Yeah.
Ali Abdelaziz, I guess, is representing the Ritter, but he was tweeting RDR has a new opponent already. Any guesses on who it is? Then Whitaker tweeted out, or somebody tweeted out, or maybe he said it on his show. Yeah, I have an opponent. It's going to be announced soon.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. And I love how quickly he's turned around Allen versus Vettori Casino Fight Night round 2. Atlanta shaping up nicely. It is Barcelos versus Garbrandt on Atlanta.
Yep.
And the
What was
Allen
that bag
Boys
of
versus
milk
New Orleans,
promo?
right? That's on the. Dude, I saw the bag of milk promo. It was so bad, it actually captivated me. I'm not gonna lie,
I don't
because
get.
I didn't know that was a thing.
What was the thing?
In Canada, they have bags of milk, like, which I didn't understand. But this promo, it's just a social video where they're all sitting at a table. It's all the fighters on the card. They blindfold them, and they say, put your hands out. We're gonna put some in your hands. They just drop this bag of milk in their hands, and it was kind of funny, I thought, to see all of the fighters be like, "What the fuck am I holding?" And then the second the Canadian fighters feel it, they're like, "Ah, it's a bag of milk." Like Mike Malot's like, "It's a bag of milk, buddy." The way he says it, it's so like Whitney, like the way he almost talks like a hockey player. I didn't think that was horrible.
Hot Billy, I don't think MMA Guru is a bag of milk. Did you see the photo of him with him?
Real?
Yes, bro. He's huge, dude.
Why does he never show people? He's always hunched over in a chair. You can't even see.
He just has like a big face. Like he's ripped. I remember there's the photo of him in DDP from like maybe 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and he was in good shape then. I mean, he needs to get in the ring.
Yeah, and I know people were saying like Mighty Mouse is, I've taken pictures next to Mighty Mouse where you're like, oh my God, Robbie's so tall. And it's like, no, Mighty Mouse is a short dude, but he looked fucking jacked in that picture. I was stunned. Like, I actually thought it was a fake photo. I was like, this is AI.
Nah, MMA Guru. Oh, did you see, speaking of Mighty Mouse, did you see him training this this kind of street MMA fighter who has lost all of his fights, and Demetrius Johnson helped him? It's so funny. There's this guy who's like, those like random fights that are like in a yard, but they kind of have an octagon.
Yeah. Street beefs?
Yeah, for the most part, I think it's street beefs. There's this guy he's a little bit of a weirdo, but he's lost all of his fights. And then Demetrius Johnson, death sentence. There we go. Shut up, B in the chat.
Is that the guy's name?
Yeah. Demetrius taught him how to win. And he
won?
And he won. Demetrius Johnson is a guy that has really, for people's number one critique of him, not everybody's, but like Dana's was like, oh, he doesn't put asses in the seats. Like no one buys a pay-per-view for Demetrius Johnson. But now he's like becoming like a YouTube star. He's been really, really good at content. And
ahead of the curve on that too. Like I remember talking to him when he was still in the UFC about like, I want to be a Twitch star. He's like, I would love to be like the number one face of Twitch or whatever. Like he's been like grinding on streams and videos and content creation and podcasts for years.
Yeah. So he put out the video is so funny, but it's 42 minutes long of him training Death Sentence, and then Death Sentence wins at the end.
What a feel-good story. I'm going to have to watch it. Sounds amazing.
Good story.
Death Sentence versus Josh Block, International Fight Week.
Do you know who Josh Block is?
Is that's don't put the fries in the bag, right?
Yeah, what don't say that?
I know, but what's his name? What do people
World of T-shirts. He's
World
unbelievable.
Of T-shirts. Yeah. I've seen those videos where people say that and then he goes crazy. Yeah, it's upsetting, but yeah.
No, yeah.
I've seen him attack people too. He might be down for that fight. He might sign on the dotted line.
He might. But the video was very funny. Him not remembering 1, 2, 3. Who is 1, 2, 3? I don't know what you're talking about, Vince. Maybe because I haven't watched it in full. This guy, Death Sentence, is a character, though.
I'm excited for this. Yeah.
Death Sentence is like straight out of Rough and Rowdy. Like this is, you could have put him in
I believe it. Rough and Rowdy and Street Beefs are like cousins. So many Street Beefs fighters fight in Rough and Rowdy and reverse. Like we'll have that on our stat sheet sometimes. This guy's like 13 and 17 in Street Beefs. We're like, okay, got it. We know exactly the kind of fighter we're dealing with then.
That's so funny. That like imagine being like the worst Street Beefs fighter, and then Demetrius Johnson, like the greatest, truly one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. Like I need to train you.
Shout out Shizat, Hot Billy says. Yeah, shout out Shizat always. Rough and Rowdy legend, Shizat the Rizat.
I haven't seen Shizat on my Instagram in a bit.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've heard from him. Could Death Sentence KO Shannon Ross? I just saw the streets lining it as a as a pick'em.
He couldn't figure out his right from his left. No way.
Saying like 1, 2, 3. Is he saying?
Now that
like,
makes sense.
he couldn't remember that. That's funny. What other news broke? Was there other news that we want to talk about before we get into the actual card?
Well, obviously, I mean, we haven't talked yet, but like Bo Nickel lost. It was like one of the bigger.
I know. Yeah, we haven't done a show since then. That was fucking crazy. The knees.
Yeah, no, like what a win for DeRitter, and it was. Yeah, we are. It feels like that was so long ago, but that was last Saturday.
And
Bo
I
just
did
like
a 24-hour stream the next day, and that made it feel like that feels like a month ago now. Everything pre-stream.
Yeah, so yeah, no, a lot of people are on Bo Nickel's ass, but I guess the question is now we'll see how he responds. I mean, a lot of guys take losses.
Yeah,
and DeRitter's really good, and I can't wait to see if like him against Whitaker would be one hell of a fight.
Sandhagen too, obviously.
Sandhagen. I mean, now the question that I've been posed by one of my friends is Corey Sandhagen, does he deserve the next title shot? And my answer is no.
I also would lean no. I don't think I would be outraged if they gave it to him, but I would lean no.
Yeah, I wouldn't be outraged either. But when you look at, he's great. There's no denying Corey Sandhagen's great. But when you look at his wins,
and he
like, I mean, he's fought everybody.
Before that, before this fight, his last fight was a lot. It's not like he's like put together a little win streak.
And it's like, okay, Umar, like, I guess, and it's also like, should he get it over Petr Yan? I mean, I guess there's the aspect that Sandhagen's never fought Merab, but like his wins prior to that, that was his first win since 2023. And that before that, I mean, he took Rob Font and Marlon Chito Vera to, like, this was his first finish since 2022 against Song Yadam, which was a little bit of a questionable stoppage call.
I just be in the chat saying you could do the Yan rematch.
I'm down for that. That seems completely fair.
Probably is time for that.
We're in a weird spot right now with Yan because I guess he may fight Marcus McGee in Abu Dhabi in July. I don't know why.
That's
maybe
it doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Maybe Jan's just like, oh, love get paid.
They need to have Yan fight McGee, Zachary Smith says. Let Corey get his revenge and then go for it. I do think his potential scrambles with Merab would make him a tough night for the current champ. Maybe. There's definitely a chance. I mean, I'd like to see that fight down the line. I just don't know if what he did on Saturday is like, all right, let's have it right now.
Yeah, and it's also like, I mean, it's Figgy.
Yeah.
And Figgy's like old, dude.
And coming up, not that he's new to this weight class at this point, but was in the lower weight class for the majority of his career.
Yeah, I would like to see Corey Yan again. And then, I mean, if Corey beats Yan, that would be more than enough.
Then there you go. Yeah.
But it's like also like, do we, like, who deserves it more, him or Merab? If that was the next question, it's kind of like, what? Like, Corey was handedly beat by Merab.
Yeah.
So, but those were my main takeaways from the card. Iowa had a little bit of a, like, it started okay, but then it kind of died off. And then, I mean, it was such a weird weekend of fights. We had the Times Square, then Canelo didn't really live up to the hype. There wasn't really a great fight until the Inoue fight.
Also, yes, this does mean, does Corey fighting Umar and being willing to do that mean anything? It does mean something. It for sure does. But just optics wise, I think it's still, it's. I
mean, that means something, but it's like he lost.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a weird weekend of fights. Obviously, the Ryan Garcia thing, like Ryan Garcia afterwards, like kind of was like, I don't want to do that again. He was anti that.
It was very weird. Yeah. Like just in terms of the feeling, where it was situated. It just I wonder if they'll ever do it again. I would assume it's such a logistical nightmare for everybody involved.
Yeah. And I don't
It
know
was
if it's like, I don't know if they would say it was like worth it to do that, because obviously it wasn't the kind of thing where they weren't going out trying to like make a ton of ticket sales from it. It was such an exclusive event that it almost felt like they were like, we're going to put on this amazing event and we don't care if we're taking the loss on it. We just want it to be a one of one, once in a lifetime experience for, oh my God, we're watching fights in the middle of Times Square. For that, they had like, it was like cool to watch guys get out of the old school cabs, Ryan Garcia coming out in the Batmobile. Like it had some theatrics about it that reminds you of like, all right, this is main event boxing theatrics. It just didn't land, I think, like everyone thought it would.
Yeah, it was just it was and the fights weren't great.
Yeah. And you
There's
can't predict that. Yeah.
and there's multiple of them that didn't like they set records for no punches landed or something. It was crazy.
You don't want to set those records. Those are the only records you don't want to set on fight night.
No, and especially like it's tough. It's that weird dichotomy of of getting paid a lot from Turkey, and the guy's like, well, I already got paid. Why am I going to go in there and risk it?
Yeah.
So
I am excited to see Turkey's making a video game. And I think you were telling me that like they're trying to get more into video games in general in Saudi Arabia. Like they're trying to forward that industry. So I'm thinking with his wallet and the money he could throw at this video game, is he going to make like the next amazing fucking fight night game that we're all playing? Like if you make a great boxing game, it'll have everyone playing it. You don't have to be a current combat sports fan to go play Tyson Holyfield in a video game.
That's a really good point. I'll be interested to see. And I mean, video game culture is so big now. It's like, how do you do it? I saw this clip from Rolly that it was making the rounds, and that it was he was talking about boxers are paid too much. They're fighting not to lose to get that next check. And he was like, you got to do it like UFC does it. And everyone was like, TKO's going to sign him right away. Get his ass in there.
All right. Do you want to get into this card? We'll talk a little bit more about DraftKings. Tell everyone more about the best in the biz. We actually just filmed the DraftKings commercial yesterday, so be on the lookout. We'll have a little
it was
not like on television, but it's going to be on like socials and shit. You'll see a new DraftKings commercial starring the three of us. But again, UFC 315 this weekend, tons of bets to make. Obviously, Jack, you've probably already made bets, right?
I've actually not placed any bets yet. I'm on the fence about a few. I've just been pretty busy this week, but I am prepared for the show and excited to play some. I think I'll play some today. I think I missed out on a few line movements. That's why you should always. DraftKings has they've had the Bilal line, the Valentina line up for like a month now or so. So you got to. That's the advantage of betting with DraftKings.
And DraftKings is, of course, the official sports betting partner of the UFC and Barstool Sports. Again, if you're new to UFC betting, it's very simple. You pick a fighter to win. You don't have to do anything more than that. Money line fighter to win. We'll talk about a bunch of them coming up. And if you're new to the app, new to DraftKings, new customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. It's just code Backfist for new customers. You'll score $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 with that code Backfist. Step into the octagon with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Thank you to DraftKings for sponsoring the show, as always.
Yeah, so DraftKings also a place to go for everything. I mean, NBA playoffs, bing bong. That was an amazing game last night.
Yeah,
and then there was DK Horse, NHL playoffs, MLB's in full swing. We love DraftKings. The group, all my plays are in there. And everybody else from Barstool. And there was obviously the Bet Gala right after your 24-hour stream, which was
UFC fighters were there.
Yes. And I remember I saw the list of who was going. And I think it was Fran who showed me a list before. She was like, oh, like, do you know anybody on this list? Like, because she was obviously hosting the red carpet. And at that point, I think they were expecting like actual, not just Barstool people, other people to be on the red carpet. So she wanted to be prepared. I was like, is that Drakkar Close, the UFC fighter? Drakkar Close? And it was, because there's not the way he spells his name. It's not Sean Smith.
No.
But like, and I was like, he's a good UFC fighter. It's just
Yeah.
like I didn't expect him to be going to this.
You would never expect him. It was him, Kelvin Gastelum, right? Big Ev said he saw. Was there another one? Was there a third one?
I think we invited Mackenzie Dern. She was supposed to go, but she ended up like something came up.
Yeah, makes sense. That's funny though. It's such a random UFC fighter you would expect to be there. Drakkar Close at the Bet Gala. Respect to him. Thanks for coming.
Matt Balsley. I think they're going to Chicago in August, no matter what.
Heavy rumors about UFC Chicago. Yeah, this summer. So I think you're good regardless of the result this weekend. What's up, Mitt Romney in the chat?
Mitt texted me after Bo lost and people. So I don't know if you saw this, Robbie. I tweeted out my plays on the Spinning Backfist on before the card on Saturday night, and my plays weren't great over the weekend. I lost, had some tough bets. My Tate didn't come through. Daniel Marcos didn't come through. We could go through them all, but I tweeted them out, and they went really poorly, and the replies just kept coming and coming. Yeah. I had to mute the thread.
Yeah.
But then I bet Bo inside the distance. Mitt Romney texted me. He's like, man, not to rub it in, but I remember you guys said he would be like minus 100 against Hamzat after UFC 290. And I was like, yeah, we were idiots. Like, that was wrong.
Old takes exposed.
Yeah, but he was but Mitt's been great. Any clip for the most part from this show is Mitt Romney. And then
it's so funny. It's so funny to say that if people don't have the context for the chat that we're reading and his username in the chat, we just keep shouting out Mitt Romney's been making our clips. He lost the presidency, he fell on hard times, and now he's working for the Spinnin Backfist MMA.
Yeah, sometimes he will call out some bad policies from Trump, and then he'll just go back to making clips.
He goes back to grinding on these clips. Yeah, he's great at captions and all that. Yeah. Gary did call out Bilal for Chicago yesterday, B says in the chat. Gary's been making some funny content this week. I thought it was funny when he looked up what Jack's favorite candy was and gave the bag to his son and had his son go give Jack the peanut M&Ms. That clip made me laugh. I don't know if it made other people laugh or people thought that was corny.
I think he's kind of at the point he could do something funny and people call it corny, which is kind of sucks. I thought that was funny. Yeah.
I thought that was so harmless. It's like when you're involving your little toddler and the little kid's like, a gift for you. Like, it was adorable.
Yeah, but like he's involving his kid a little bit too much. It's like but
okay, I could see that side too.
But I thought I laughed at
that one. Has American wrestling been neutralized? Says Vince. Fucking don't let DC hear that. And we're gonna have DC in the office next week. How about that? DC and Chael.
So that those two we have to. That's the number one question we have to ask.
Yeah, we'll talk to him about that, and they will say no. Don't start calling him Dagestani handcuffs in front of us.
Yeah.
Chael match made Bo versus RDR. He's def sorry about that decision. Did he match make that? I didn't know that was a Chael production. I'm sure.
Chael's awesome. No, Chael and DC. Well, John Jones posted a video of DC on his Instagram story. John's like, "What did the gorilla ever do to anybody?" And it's just like, John, stop ducking Tom.
Yeah, like you don't get to jump into this fun humans versus gorilla debate.
No. You
don't get to do that with us. It's like the guy who's not writing Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin. It's been like 13 years since he said the book's coming out, and he keeps like doing side projects. Stop doing your side projects. Just like do the thing that we all want you to do.
He writes like 12,000 word essays on the Jets, like the Jets being bad.
Literally, like does that shit, and everyone's like, "Hey, you don't get to do that. Go write the thing we want you to write." It's the same thing with John Jones and this all his memes, all his fun online. Oh, look at all my posters in the basement. I have stuff. No. You should get your social media taken away.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's get into this card. You know who's going to this card? Kevin Owens.
Oh, nice. But isn't he's Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew that because him and Sami Zayn. Is Sami Zayn going?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But Kevin's going. He doesn't live there anymore, but I think he's gone. It's like the TKO connection and everything.
Sami Zayn, what's he up to these days?
He's still active. He just came back on Monday Night Raw. He got like attacked by Braun Breaker 2 weeks ago. Came back last week.
Oh, okay. So he's still in
So,
WWE. Okay,
oh
cool.
yeah. Still in the main event picture and everything. He's the best. All right, we kick things off with a Canadian Irishman, Brad Katona versus Bezket Almakhan. Almakhan minus 148, Brad Katona plus 124. Katona is one of those guys that I know I've said this on the show before, and I think Evis has said it as well. He will fight for your money. You get him at plus money. He's a grinder. He doesn't always win, but he will fucking grind. He won the Ultimate Fighter like twice, right? Or did he win the first time? He definitely won the second time.
Yeah.
Absolute grinder. If I could get him at plus money, I'm almost always taking him at plus money, and I'll take him in this fight, especially to kick off the card.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to sit this one out. Almakhan is a guy, or Almakhan is a guy. I mean, he came in on short notice with a little bit of hype against Umar, and he knocked him down in the first. It was like Umar kind of slipped too, but he knocked him down, and then Umar just dominated him. Shows that he's tough. I think this is going to decision. If I like to decide here, I'd take either by decision. I think we're giving Almakhan a little bit too much credit for like his knockdown of Umar, because then after that he got dominated. But also you can't really blame him for that. I mean, if Marab wasn't here, he'd be the champ. Yeah. So it's a weird fight. It's a good fight though. Like I'm excited for this one, and obviously Brad Katona, the Canadian side, and so, but I don't have a bet on it. I don't think I'm gonna.
And then up next we've got the Korean Tiger, Jung Young Lee versus Daniel Santos. Almost to pick him. Jung Young Lee minus 115, Daniel Santos minus 105. I don't have much of a read on this one. I know we've seen each guy 3 or 4 times in the UFC. I want to say 3 each. Yep. I don't know what to think of either of these guys. The Korean Tiger, we've seen have a couple split decisions, I think. He won the road to the UFC or road to UFC. Do you have a read on it?
I definitely lean to the Lee side. I am concerned he could potentially get knocked out. We saw he got knocked out by Hyder and Mill. Right now, I think I missed out on the him being an underdog, so I may end up just not playing it. He was in the plus 120, plus 130 range. Now Santos is shoot box, so like obviously he comes from a good camp. It'll be interesting to see who's better on the feet, because Lee is pretty good on the feet. It will be interesting to see if Santos can take down Lee, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I lean Lee. I don't think I'm going to bet it though. If I do, obviously I'll tweet that out. But I at this time at the current price, I think I'll probably sit this one out. Good fight though. Good matchup.
Yeah, I mean the next one, a good matchup, and in terms of like I guess these guys are even right now. One of them's on a 3-fight losing streak. One of them's on a 4-fight losing streak. This is a ridiculous fight, but MAB versus Bruno Silva, not ridiculous. I don't mean to say ridiculous. I don't mean to show him disrespect like that, but it's just a lot of red when you look at these guys' Tapology pages recently, and they're not the worst losses, obviously. Like you look at Bruno Silva's losses, he's had a couple that aren't the worst. But MAB is minus 155, Bruno Silva or plus 130. I don't feel confident enough to bet on either one of these guys. Like I don't have faith that either one of them could pick up a win here. This could be a promoter walks into the octagon and says it's over.
I mean, MAB puts on a show when he's in there.
He does.
He may die, but he's a guy that it's like I look at this under and I'm like, But Bruno Silva's a guy that wants
the under plus. Wow, plus 154.
But Bruno Silva is a guy that is known for a power, like a really good chin. He won 2 decision with Poton when Poton was just running through guys, and it's going to be a striker fight.
Mm-hmm.
I lean like MAB inside the distance, but
do you feel like confident enough to bet on MAB minus 155? Or if you're saying inside the distance, it'll be better?
No, I don't. But I think he's like Marc-Andre by anything.
Plus knocked out in his last 2 fights, right? Yeah, which was Pfeiffer. Or okay, you give him that one, but then it was Stolfitz, both in the first round.
But it's like I just like Chris Weidman was kind of outstriking him on the feet. I just
Bruno Silva, you mean, was outstriking?
yeah. No. Chris Weidman was
Weidman was
outstriking.
outstriking Bruno Silva.
I think Mark, but it's a fascinating fight. I know I don't have confidence. You're right. I just don't.
And then we've got Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Erslan. Navajo Sterling minus 325, Ivan Erslan plus 260. Probably one where Sterling rolls, I think.
Yeah, I think there may be a little bit too much hype on Navajo.
It's a great name. How much of the hype is that name? Navajo Sterling is a fucking great one.
Navajo is a great name. You're not Navajo is
Sterling too. It the whole thing flows. I like it.
It really does flow. It's another tough one. I look at it and it's like he's a guy that I think I mean I'm looking at maybe I was just looking at some of the odds. Yeah, I think like the under because Ivan's going to stand and Navajo throws hard. Navajo by KO is minus 105. What's fight doesn't go distance? Our fight lines under 2.5 is minus 155. Under 1.5 is plus 135. I think this is going to be a war, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets stopped in the first 2 rounds. So I'm leaning under 1.5 plus 135. And I mean, who knows? Like Ivan could even find something, but this is going to be a stand-up war, and I think that bodes well for an under.
Yeah. Then we've got Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Kudalaba, who I believe is Hot Billy's favorite active fighter. Shout out Hot Billy in the chat.
Shout out Hot Billy, the GOAT.
Basically a pick 'em here. And
I don't know what to do with this.
I don't know what to do with it either, but I probably in a fight like this, live crowd, I'm going to lean Ion Kudalaba and say there's something mystical in the air about this guy, the Hulk, when you put him in front of a live crowd, get the juices.
All right.
I feel like Yanni the Greek saying that because there's really no analysis I'm providing there. It's just a gut feeling, but I'm going with the gut feeling. I'm riding with Hot Billy.
Yeah, I think it is. I think he has more power than Bukauskas. And then Eon's been in there with like some unbelievable top tier competition. I mean, he fought Ankalaev twice. Both those fights didn't really last long, but I mean, Kudalaba's sneaky young too. And he's not young, but he's not as old. You'd think he's like 45 because he's been around for so long. No. He does bring the fight. Yeah, I would lean Eon too, but I'm not confident. I think I'm going to sit this one out. But I mean, it's just like a meme fight. It's like it's just memes. It's just the unders 1.5. There's of the last 3 fights, all of them are lined under 1.5. Which means like, hey, we may get some violence in here.
Then we've got Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Jessica Andrade. And this fight, I think, is super interesting because the line is pretty wide. It's Jessica Andrade plus 250, Jasudavicius minus 310. Obviously, Jasmine's had a better recent 5, 6, 7 fights than Andrade record-wise. Andrade is still Andrade in my mind. I'm like, she's still so experienced. She's been in there with everyone. I think I'm going to sprinkle something on her plus 250 in this fight. And I don't have complete faith that she's going to win the fight, but I think there's a chance that she comes out in great shape and she comes out like kind of the Andrade that we know from the past and could steal this one.
Yeah, I think like the people that Andrade can like stop and get going on are individuals that are like a little bit smaller, can't get her down, and Mackenzie Dern like. I think Jasmine's just going to ragdoll her. Round 2, round 3. I like the under here because if Jasmine can't get I just don't know how this under doesn't hit, to be completely honest. I mean, like gamble responsibly, of course. But I'm looking at this under 2.5 plus 124. Either Jasmine's going to get on top and destroy her, or Andrade is just going to destroy her on the feet. Like, it's just like, I can't
that
wrap my
happens,
head around it.
if Andrade is beating her on the feet, I don't have faith that Andrade is going to like finish her right away. Like, if Andrade wins, I think it'll be like decision.
Oh, but I think it could go the way of like that fight against Mackenzie Dern when
Maybe.
Andrade was just like destroying her because she throws
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But I really think this is a Jasmine spot. I think she's a little bit safe here. And I think she's going to finish round 2, round 3. I'm really looking at that. I'm definitely going to bet that. I think I'm going to do Jasmine round 2, round 3 KO. Jasmine Andrade under 2.5. Jasmine in a parlay. I feel like I have the perfect read on this fight, which could go wrong though.
Hold on one sec. I got something to do with 4. I'm just going to push it to 405.
Perfect. Next up, we have Mike Malott against Charles
legend. Yeah.
And this is a great fight. I love this fight. Mike Malott, obviously, he looked great against, I think it was who was it? Neil Magny. And Neil Magny just found a way he killed him with like 2 minutes left. And I don't think we've seen him since then.
No.
And there's been a lot of love on Charles Radke. He was at plus 200 earlier in the week. He's down plus 140. I think we're entering a part here where it's like, I may be thinking about Mike Malott. The only thing is,
on Mike Malott here.
I'm a little bit concerned about him mentally.
Really?
I've listened to a few interviews for him before he even lost, where he was just like, yeah, like I really like my mentality. Like he never really fought a lot. I think he had like some nerves going to the cage. And I think he really was like,
is he having flashbacks to when the fucking crowd and barricade fell on top of his head almost?
Oh my God, that's a good point.
Flashbacks too. That was one of the craziest things we've ever seen. I think that was in Canada too when it happened because they were going so crazy over him.
Also, I apologize. He fought Trevin Giles, Officer Giles.
Oh yeah.
Late last year. So he's gotten back in the the W column. I'm kind of looking at this and thinking, okay, is this the time to enter on Malott?
I think so. I'm on.
I think like Malott can dictate the pace. He uses kicks well. And I think he also, I mean, he has good takedowns. I'm looking at the under 2. I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, maybe I'll even look at a Malott round 1, round 2, or maybe even round 2, round 3 inside the distance. But this line keeps coming down. He's like the dog of the week throughout Twitter and all over. And I don't know if I agree with it that much. Like Charles Radke has always left so much to be desired with me.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
And he's coming off a victory over Matthew Semmelsberger. Before that, he was against Carlos Prates. Not an awful loss, but Gilbert Urbina, Mike Mathifa, that's Blood Diamond, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just like Radke's like always like been to me.
Then we've got the main card kicking off with BSD versus Kyle Propolic. This brave soul getting in the octagon with Benoit Saint Denis. BSD is minus 1,050. And his opponent, Kyle, is plus 675. BSD is going to knock him out right away.
Under 1.5, minus 188 seems like.
Yeah.
What? Like that should be minus 1,000.
Yeah. I might take that under. Under.
What?
Maybe this guy's the American zombie Chris Moitino, and we don't know it. But
yeah, I would be furious. I'd be crashing out. I'd be throwing shit. I'd be like, what the fuck? Just throwing it. But yeah, no, I mean, I haven't watched this guy fight. I haven't, no, but I think the Canadian scene does not have the best reputation. I think he's from like Ontario or something, or Windsor.
Then we've got Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva, another women's fight where I feel like the odds are surprising me on this, and I'm fine with Natalia Silva being the favorite. I understand that, but plus 205 on Alexa Grasso right after that Valentina fight at the Sphere and everything. Like, again, I think I'm going to be on Alexa Grasso here.
Yeah, I think Silva's a future champion. I think she's just Grasso, like, I think and this has happened before and it hasn't continued, but one's on the way up, one's on the way down, kind of. And now sometimes there's a little bit of a dead cat bounce where like a Natalia Silva's like, no, I'm using this to go back up. But I don't know. I think Natalia Silva's just so much better. I think she could even Natalia or Alexa's hard to finish, but yeah, I think Natalia is pretty safe here. I like her minus 250. But I mean, I see what you're saying though. She's minus 160 to win by decision. That's a pretty steep line. She may be in one of my parlays.
50 in there. I don't know.
Say that again.
Like, I would be surprised if she went in there and looked minus 250 against Alexa Grasso.
I think if she wins, she looks more than that.
All right.
Just because I think it's going to be very difficult for Grasso to take down Silva. And I think Silva's she throws a lot of kicks. She punches well. Grasso may have better hands, though, but we'll see. Silva may end up getting on top. It'll be an interesting fight. I mean, yeah, minus 250 is a little bit steep considering like the level of competition. And the difference is huge.
Then we've got a legend, Jose Aldo versus Zahabi. Zahabi plus 170, Jose Aldo minus 205. I'm glad Jose Aldo came out of retirement. I know a lot of MMA fighters, they're always retiring, coming out of retirement. But the fact that he came out of retirement and is still fighting like a savage and is still putting on entertaining fights is amazing. And I think he probably wins this one as well. I think that line's probably pretty accurate. I see Jose Aldo like winning via decision here.
I kind of like Amin Zahabi here.
Oh, we're on the opposite side of everything this week. All right.
Yeah, I think this is this is Amin Zahabi's biggest fight of his career. He's in his home country. He's taken down some guys as big underdogs, and this is the moment that this is his last shot. He's obviously a great fighter, very inactive, but his brother's known as like one of the greatest coaches in MMA, and I think we have to respect Amin Zahabi here. And I also think we have to look at Jose Aldo not as the guy that when we close our eyes and think about Jose Aldo, but as the guy who's shown us. But this is I think Zahabi's moment. And I think it should be like kind of a coin flip fight. Aldo may win by decision, but I think it will be even if he does, it's the 29-28, even a controversial one. And that I'd rather be on the plus 170 side. Amin Zahabi war. I can't wait for this. This is his moment. Montreal stand up like this. The welcome for Amin Zahabi is going to be off the charts.
Jack, don't tell me you're betting against Shevchenko in the next fight. Don't tell me.
So I keep going back. I keep going back and forth with this one.
I'm on Shevchenko. Maybe a little Spinnin Backfist interview bias. I will say Shevchenko was and no disrespect, a much better interview than I thought she would be. We see interviews with Shevchenko. She's always very kind of serious and to the point. She was joking around with us. She's explaining old fight stories, old pictures. She's telling us how much she loves James Bond and how she feels like she's the James Bond of fighters because she knows how to do all the things James Bond could do, but in the cage. It was a great interview. Maybe there is a little bias. It's also my fiance's favorite fighter and the one fighter that my fiance is really, other than like Patty, who she's really like cheering on every time. So there's a little bias in the Fox household for sure. But again, I feel the experience. I feel the level of competition. I feel the 7 title defenses that she's had in her career are going like under talked about. PC Strickland said Shevchenko fight kit is awesome. I agree with that. It's got a cool fucking like dragon design on it. Very cool. I don't know if that's going to help her in the fight. I would like to think it will, but I don't think it's going to. But I still think we're talking about a legend here, like they're on the way down. I don't know if Shevchenko's on the way down just yet.
Yeah. I think if this line keeps dropping, I'm going to get involved on Menyo. Because Menyo got up to minus 160 on the week, which I think was a little bit insane. And also, it's like, but I was so impressed by Menyo's performance against Aaron that I think to myself, maybe this is her moment. But Chev continues to show herself as, kind of one of the goats of women's MMA. And even if she lost this, she would say that without a doubt. Yeah. I don't know. I just
feels like you're on the other side. It feels like we're split this week, Jack.
I just don't know. Like, if Aaron Blanchfield couldn't get the takedowns on Menyo, is Shevchenko going to be able to get them? And if Shevchenko, we saw her on the feet against Alexa Grasso, it's like, this is what I'm weighing in my mind. And it's like, at minus 160, I think that's a little bit insane because, there's all those elements that we talk about every week. Fighter experience, big moment. How are you going to react in there? But once it's down like this minus 130 range, I'm kind of looking, I'm like,
And then the main event, Bilal Muhammad versus JDM, Jack Della Maddalena. JDM plus 160, Bilal Muhammad minus 192. I don't know if I'm going to bet Bilal in this fight, but I definitely think he's going to win the fight. Like, I don't want to say there's no scenario, but it's almost hard for me to picture Jack Della Maddalena winning this fight based on the last couple of Bilal performances we've seen. Like, the last couple of Bilal performances have kind of opened my eyes to all right, he is that guy. It was hard for me to buy him as that guy for a while, but he is. And I don't think he'll be the champ for years to come, but I don't know if Jack Della Maddalena is the guy.
So I just think of so how is Bilal win here? So he said, hey, I'm not gonna do any takedowns. I'm staying on the feet. And
I don't buy any of that.
But here's the thing. If he does shoot the takedowns, JDM's very hard to control. He just cycles through. He's a guy it's a scramble. It's a scramble. Now Bilal's good at that. One thing that I do really think about. This is a huge age gap. Bilal's old. Bilal is what Muhammad age? I think he's 38, bro. 36
maybe, or 36.
He's gonna be 37 in 2 months.
All right, he's not that old.
No, so bro.
You're gonna put that bold hold on him.
170 pounds. That's old.
Yeah. How old is Robert Whittaker?
Yeah, it's just. I think he can do some more damage. I think JDM can do some more damage. Maybe even find a finish. Bilal's tough to put out of there, but is Bilal gonna win this fight on the feet and look minus 190 doing that? I say no. So I'm taking JDM plus 160 and trusting his takedown defense, his scrambling, and also his finishing ability. What we saw Randy Brown do, and this is MMA math, but what we saw Randy Brown do to Nicholas Dalby, JDM handled Randy Brown like he was a nobody.
True.
Now, if Bilal goes in there and
Bilal too, Bilal recently has been next level.
Yeah, but and I may be falling for a fake clip. JDM choked out Craig Jones in the fucking.
I did see that. I didn't know whether or not to believe that either.
Yeah, but it's yeah, no. And also, Bilal feels like he's not really he's talking about Kamaru Usman. It's JDM's here, and he may be to UFC fans, MMA fans, the regulars, the casuals. They may not know a lot about him. He's kind of boring. But I think he's a guy that's they're going to be in there and be like, damn, this guy's good. And I like the underdog.
Before we get out of here, let's also shout out the PFL. Obviously, the PFL World Tournament is here. We've got cards to talk about. We've got fights to talk about in PFL. It's been a great season so far. Format change has been good. I think everything about The format change has been good. They've got PFL Cape Town coming up, semifinals coming up. A lot of good stuff, Jack, in the
Paul
PFL.
Hughes back in the octagon on Saturday. He's fighting Bruno Miranda, who was in the PFL for the past few years. This is obviously we want to see Usman Nurmagomedov against Paul Hughes if that fight can happen in the future. But that is happening for the first PFL Europe of the year. And then the semifinals return Thursday, June 12th.
Yep. Pinedo versus
Nashville.
Braga. That's a great fight. Storley
Jason
versus
Jackson,
Curry.
Fat Gene,
Yeah.
Jesus Pinedo, Gabriel Braga. These are we're a month away from that, but this past week we saw the final round, and I mean, what a victory for Phil Davis. Phil Davis, the old man, showing don't count out a 40-plus-year-old. He finishes Rob Wilkinson. Can't wait to see him in the second round, which is the semifinals. And there was some other great, Carl or Simeon Powell. That's a guy that, oh my God, dude. If he puts it together.
I'm looking at this semifinal card. It's awesome. The Storley fight's going to be great. The Pinedo fight obviously is going to be great. Jackson versus Gene, I assume that's going to be the main event. Awesome fight. Yeah, it's been good times in the PFL World Tournament 2025. And where are you said Nashville they're going to for the semis?
No, they'll be all over, but first one, PFL semifinals one will be in Nashville, June 12th. Then one's in Chicago, I believe, and then the other one is in Charlotte. Wichita, which is
nice. Good
shout out to Kansas, getting a nice card out there. That will be, but that returns in June. But I'm
in August. They're in Atlantic City.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see how PFL Europe goes this weekend. And it's great to see Paul Hughes. It's just, I mean, he's a guy that I can't wait to see how far he can go with it. He's a true superstar in the making, I believe. And I don't think I am alone in thinking that. We do not know why PFL Paris got postponed, but I assume they're working on trying to book something else.
Yeah. All right. I've got to run. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Spinnin' Backfist MMA show. We will talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.